Oh, hello, and Merry Christmas. Tonight, I'll be reading you the story of the Lucy Scrooge. Once upon a time, there was a grouchy puppy named Lucy Scrooge. She was extremely successful in business, but her heart was frozen. She had a luxurious apartment that no one was allowed to visit, not even on Christmas. When her old roommate and best friend Jenna came over to invite her over for Christmas, she responded with a growl, "You know I don't want to see you ever again. You didn't give me enough treats. Now I live on my own, and I have as many treats as I want." Jenna exclaimed, "Lucy, no matter what, I want you to know I love you. If you ever change your mind, there will be many treats, and you will be most welcome." "I won't change my mind, bah humbug," Lucy growled. Jenna simply responded, "I'll wish you a Merry Christmas anyway, and be on my way." Lucy Scrooge made her way back to her luxurious apartment and turned in for the evening. It wasn't long after slumber had set in when her sleep was abruptly interrupted by a spooky ghost. "Lucy, Lucy, Lucy Scrooge." Lucy awoke and couldn't believe her eyes. The ghost of the evil groundhog from the Dubonnet episode was back from the dead on Christmas Eve. Lucy screamed, "What do you want, evil groundhog? Why do you haunt me?" The evil groundhog explained, "You once had a noble heart willing to defend your best friend Jenna against my evil schemes, and now your heart is cold as ice. You must amend your ways before it's too late." "Who are you to judge me?" Lucy cried. "You're the evil groundhog." The groundhog explained, "I have been given a chance to redeem myself and save you from the fate I have been experiencing since you rightfully sent me to my doom. I will show you what awaits you if you do not change your ways." The groundhog took Lucy by the paw, and they were transported into a different world, a sad, cold, and tortured world where all the souls were crying from eternal loneliness. Lucy whimpered, "I can't have this fate. Please help me, groundhog, please." The groundhog whispered, "Are you sure you can change and warm your heart once more?" Lucy Scrooge shouted, "Yes, yes, I will warm my heart once more. Please help me, evil groundhog, please." And with that, Lucy was awake. It was Christmas morning, and she was the happiest puppy that ever was. She resolved to put on her Christmas sweater and move back in with Jenna if she would have her. As soon as she arrived, Jenna was overjoyed. She took her into her arms, welcomed her home, and wished her the merriest of Christmases. And that's the story of Lucy Scrooge. I hope you all have a very Merry Christmas from Lucy and I. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button. I will be putting out videos weekly. This week for the Christmas special, I figured why not do tequila? So what is tequila? Tequila is a spirit made in certain areas of Mexico, distilled from the blue agave plant, which is technically a very large succulent. There's 3 basic types of tequila: Blanco, Reposado, and Añejo. And those are just age statements. So when you see Blanco on the label, that means that it hasn't been aged. When you see Reposado, that means that it's been rested. So it's been aged in a barrel for about 2 months. And when you see Añejo, that means aged. Tequila was first produced in the 1500s in Mexico when the Spanish conquistadors came over and ran out of brandy that they had taken over with them from Spain, which makes it one of the oldest distilled spirits in North America. It's been commercially produced since the 1600s when King Carlos IV gave the first commercial license to the Cuervo family. For my recipe, I'm using Milagro Reposado, and I'm using that because it's a decent tequila that's not incredibly expensive, and the Reposado has been aged for a couple months. So it takes on the flavors nicely that I'm incorporating into the infusion. Check out this quick video to see how I created the infusion last week. So now that my infusion's ready, I'm going to incorporate it into a hot apple cider drink. And you can do this individually if you would like, or you can do it as a punch for Christmas. If you're doing it as a punch, I would recommend doing it as a ratio of 4-to-1 cider. Of course, it's Christmas and you can do as much or as little of the tequila as you would like. For apple cider, I buy mine. I'm not trying to make that myself. Just make sure that you buy a good one. And then make sure that you heat it up before you put it into your coffee cup. The more that you heat an alcoholic beverage, the more the alcohol is going to evaporate. So I like to heat up my cider first and then get started with my drink. And you can measure this out if you want to. I'm not going to, but I'm basically doing about 2 ounces of tequila. And if you want to give this to people for Christmas, like I'm going to do, I included a little cinnamon stick in the mason jar just to make it extra cute. So I'm gonna pour a lot of it of my tequila. And then I've got my hot apple cider that I'm pouring over top of it. You can see how steamy and lovely that looks. And then to garnish, get creative with it. I bought some apple chips that I'm gonna use, and I'm also going to include a cinnamon stick. And like I said before, if you decide to do this as a punch, you can lay those on top of it to make it look really festive for Christmas. And guys, that's really all there is to it. So good. If you make this drink, I guarantee that you will have a very Merry Christmas. If you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button. I am Jenna, and this is Jen and Tonic. Merry Christmas.